Hi everybody, my name is Stacy D and welcome back to Queenie's Place. So today's gonna be story time. I know that a lot of you guys have been waiting to hear this story and all the fun good things that have to go with it. I don't know how exciting it is to y'all, but here we go. So in my very first video I did an unboxing with my husband, and there were these silicone cake pans or loaf pans that I had ordered, and so I sniffed it like a dummy at that time because I was like, oh, I wanted to smell if it was rubbery, and I couldn't smell it. So I told my husband, who's off camera, that's why I keep looking there, don't worry, who's off camera, that, oh hey, how does it smell? And he was like, it smells rubbery. So I said that, and then I went on to say that, oh, it's because I can't smell, that's why, and then there's a story time to come. So that is this. We'll start when I was pregnant with my son. I got pregnant with him shortly after we got married. We got pregnant, and you know, everything's cool, everything's fine, we had no problems. Then all of a sudden, the beginning of the year, so we got married 2017, so the beginning of the year 2018, I was starting to get these really bad headaches. I just woke up in the middle of the night one night and my head was killing me. I was like, what is going on? I don't know what this is. Whatever, took a Tylenol, went back to sleep, but the pain was like consistent and I didn't know what was going on. I know that with my daughter I got headaches, but it wasn't as bad as this time around. And then like my sister, and I had some friends and some other family members who were like, oh yeah, they get headaches during pregnancy, it's nothing new. But the thing is, I was having a consistent headache for 2 weeks straight before I was like, okay, I don't know what this is, and something needs to be done about it. So from there, when I went to go see my OB, I let him know that I'm like, I'm getting this headache, it's really bad, and I don't know what's going on, I don't know where it's coming from and whatnot. So he had said, oh, okay, everything is okay with the baby, but if you are still having a headache tomorrow, go to the Emerge. I was off work for those days, so I was like, okay, no problem, I'm still off work, so I'll go tomorrow if I'm having headaches still. I could not last till the next day, so that evening my husband had a doctor's appointment. I was like, I can't go inside with you, I'm just gonna rest in the car, my head is hurting way too much. And so when he came out from his doctor's appointment, I said, babe, please, let's go to the Merge. As I said in my Get to Know Me video, I live in Brampton, so we went to the hospital that is here. I went and, you know, was like, this is what's going on, having really bad headaches, whatever the case may be. They did all the stuff that they needed to do. Mind you, yes, I'm a nurse, but when I go into a hospital as a patient, I do not like to pull out, I'm a nurse, so you need to do this. I won't do that. I will let you do what you're doing, but if I feel like something is wrong, you're doing something wrong, then I will be like, do you think you can do this instead or do that instead? And like when they start trying to be like, hey, I think you are talking to me like that, they'll be like, well, I'm a nurse too, and I know you're supposed to do it like this. But that is just like, you know, a side note. So went to the hospital, they checked my vitals, my blood pressure, temperature, everything. And then I was just waiting. So eventually they took me into triage. They hooked me up to an IV, gave me some pain medication, which didn't do anything. Mind you, I would take Tylenol, it was not doing anything. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when you're pregnant, doctors say you should not take Advil, so I wasn't able to take Advil. So I was just taking Tylenol to try and help with the headaches. So they gave me something else, naproxen, which is kind of like a leave, if you will, but that wasn't doing anything. And so when I had told my OB earlier in the day about the headaches, he said that when you go to Emerge, tell them that you want to have a CT scan. So or a CAT scan, so that they can see what's going on, if there's something going on in your head. So I said, okay, no problem. So when I was in Emerge and I was talking to the doctor and I was explaining, I'm having this pain and it's like right through here and I don't know what's going on and it just hurts and it's non-stop. The doctor was like, oh, it's nothing, it's a nerve pain. Let me just inject you with some lidocaine and you'll be fine. So lidocaine is numbing. And I was like, I don't think you should do that. I don't think that that's gonna help. Like, I would like a CT scan. And he goes, oh, you're young and you're pregnant. You don't need that radiation. It's just a nerve pain. You'll be fine. And I was trying, both my husband and I were trying to explain to him, like, no, it's more than that. Something needs to be done. I need a scan. Even if you don't want to give me a CT scan because of radiation and me being pregnant, MRI. It was a no. So, whatever. Left, went home, woke up the next morning. My husband went to work. I was still off of work and I was like, my head is killing me. I cannot do this. Like, I was in tears. Like, pain just kept getting progressively worse and worse and worse as time was going on. So my husband had to leave work early. We took our daughter out of school early, dropped her off with my in-laws, and then went to the hospital. But we didn't go back to that hospital. We went to the hospital that I work at. So we went there. Mind you, it's not like everybody knows that I work there. I just was like, you know what? Let me just go to that hospital if this one doesn't want to cooperate. So went to the hospital, told them what was going on. Once again, they hooked me up to pain medication, but they gave me morphine this time, which helped a lot more. I could still feel the pain, but it was better than what I got the day before. So I was there. The doctor finally was able to see me. I explained to them what was happening. They were like, okay, because you are pregnant, I'm going to order an MRI for you. We don't want a situation that, oh, God forbid, you had a blood clot somewhere that dislodged and it goes up to your head. We don't want it to be in your brain. So we're going to do an MRI without contrast to make sure that everything is okay. That is what I'm expecting for a doctor to say, especially in my condition. Like, you see I'm pregnant, you see my history, I'm pregnant, you know the possible complications that could arise with somebody who is pregnant. Why not do your due diligence and make sure everything is okay?
Because he's a jackass.
Indeed he is. So, if you didn't hear, my husband said because that doctor that we went to the night before is a jackass. So, this doctor said that was a Saturday night. Yeah, it was a Saturday night because it was a Sunday morning when they were able to get me in to do the MRI. So we were in the hospital that whole night. I called in at work and I told them, well, I think I literally walked onto my unit and I was like, so this is the situation. I'm in Emerge. I can't come to work. So they were like, all right, no problem. I'm waiting. They do the MRI and then they pull us into the room when they get the results and they're like, okay, so here's the situation. You have a pituitary adenoma. So the pain that you're feeling is not out of nowhere. It's not unfounded. You have something going on in your head. So the pituitary adenoma is a benign tumor that was sitting on my pituitary gland inside my head and it had bled. So the bleeding was a significant amount that it was putting pressure on everything else inside my head, and that was what was causing the pain. The doctor was like, okay, we're going to refer you to a neurosurgeon and an endocrinologist, which is a doctor that specializes in your hormones, and we'll go from there. So I was like, all right, cool. When I say I was scared out of my ishless, I was scared ishless. So was my husband. Like, we were freaking out, but I tried my best to be cool because I was like, oh, okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah, that freaked me out worse.
My husband was not cool. I'm sorry, babe. He cried. And
No, don't go spreading these. Don't, no.
Say before God right now, you didn't cry.
Say before
that God.
A tear or two may have fallen. but I was not. No,
cried.
there's a difference. There's a difference. I might have been emotional, but I wasn't bawling. Let's make that clear.
I didn't say bawling. I said you cried.
A teardrop.
You cried.
One or two.
Anyways, so it's okay. I don't know why he wants to do macho man. Like, you have emotions. Show it. Be proud of your emotions. Okay? You feel for your wife. It's okay. Anyways, we went home and we're like, okay, so this is the situation. Told all our family what was happening. They were like freaking out. And we're like, don't worry. We have a slew of doctors that are looking after me. We're okay. The baby is okay. And that was like my major concern, I should say, was that baby was okay. It had not affected anything pregnancy wise. It was just literally my head. So yes, my neurosurgeon goes, don't worry, it's not cancerous. You will grow old. You will meet all your grandchildren, maybe even your great grandchildren. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. We will continue to monitor it. Just know, unfortunately, that means that you cannot have a natural birth, not a vaginal birth. I have to have a C-section. So with my daughter, I had vaginal birth. My son ended up being a C-section because of the situation. So I was like, that's what really hurt the most, because I was like, I do not want to get cut. I want to just naturally push him and, you know, push him out and it'll be good. But it is what it is. Health first. So I was like, all right, cool. So I was still having headaches, but they had prescribed me some stronger pain medications that are safe during pregnancy. So I was taking those whenever I was feeling pain. I started having to take medication for my thyroid because this was affecting my thyroid function. So throughout my pregnancy, I gained mad weight. I gained like 40 or 50 pounds throughout the pregnancy, which is crazy. Like, when you saw me, I was swollen in the face. My nose was huge. Everything. Like, I was just... And because my thyroid function was so low, and then I was getting all this weight with it. And I'm always tired. Like, it was just a lot. So I was like, okay, it is what it is. Whatever happens after, happens. So headaches started getting a little better, and so I had to get MRIs done every 3 months just to make sure that nothing else was going on. So as time was going on, and every MRI I would get done, it wasn't that I was getting bigger, it was stable. The one concern they did have was because of where the tumor is. This is the tumor, and then this is what they call my optic nerve, right? So that is what helps with your eyesight. And your optic nerve is supposed to be straight like this. So the tumor was pushing on it and it was curving. So their main concern was like, oh, we need to make sure that your eyesight doesn't go bad. As in, I don't lose my sight. So that was another thing. So now I have to monitor and make sure that I'm not getting double vision or blurry vision. Also monitor and make sure this baby is okay and I'm okay. But like I said, as the MRIs were getting done, they were like, okay, it's stable, it's stable, it's stable, it's not getting bigger. The bleeding had stopped, and it kind of had reabsorbed. And so I had my son. He was a big boy, 8 pounds 5 ounces. He was real big. The OB was even like, you might have not been able to push him out as big as he is, but it is what it is. He was here, he was healthy, he was a happy boy, didn't cry, nothing. And when you guys see him in some of these other videos, you're gonna see him running around like he's good. So after I had my son, the swelling on it and everything started to go down. Did an MRI, they were like, okay, so it looks like it's getting a little bit smaller in size. I was like, okay, cool, that means it's getting better. And it just kind of stayed like this the whole time, and it had stayed like that for like, what, I had him 2018, 2019, actually till about the end of 2019. this tumor did not do anything, didn't go anywhere, just stayed like this. My eyesight was okay, I wasn't having any issues, and I wasn't having headaches. And so I was like, okay, so pregnancy is done. It was probably pregnancy that like made everything swell up and made all these issues happen, so we're okay now. But my doctor was like, we're still going to be monitoring. So from every 3 months of doing an MRI turned to every 6 months of doing an MRI, because it's not doing anything. We don't have to be as consistent. And I was like, all right, cool, but continue to monitor. If anything changes with your eyesight, if you're having more headaches all of a sudden, let me know. That's what my neurosurgeon was saying. Fast forward, we're now in 2020, and around March, April, I started noticing I was getting really bad headaches again. That I was like, I need to take days off of work because these headaches were so bad. Again, I was waking up in the middle of the night in tears with such bad head pain. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, why is this happening again? And then I also noticed that I would be squinting a little bit when I'm trying to see things, but I didn't take it as anything is going on with my optic nerves at that time. I just figured, I was like, maybe maybe I need glasses. Maybe I'm having some difficulty seeing. I'm getting older. I figured that's what I thought it was. But thinking like May, June, I was like, okay, let me call the doctor and let them know what's going on. But because of everything with COVID, doctors aren't taking in-person appointments anymore. Everything's over the phone and whatnot. I started having this whole, should I call him when I'm at work to just talk to him directly? Because when I call the office, they're like, okay, just keep us notified if anything is changing and stuff like that. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what, let me just directly email him. And so that's what I did. And I was like, I'm so sorry to disturb you. I don't mean to do that, but I've been having some really bad headaches all of a sudden. And this is like end of June, beginning of July that I started sending him emails. I was like, my head's getting really bad and I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the stress of everything that's happening in the world right now, because I just assumed that that's what it was. And he was like, you know what? It's going to admit you. And I'm like, what do you mean just admit you? He's like, I think it's time for us to do the surgery. And I was like,
finally.
I was like, this guy. Yes, my husband wanted me to do surgery from the beginning, but couldn't do surgery because I was pregnant. And then shortly after, after having my son, I'm like, it's not a good idea, because imagine you just had a baby, then having brain surgery. How is it going to work? How are you going to have time to actually bond with the baby? I can't do all of that. So I took it upon myself to not do the surgery within that time frame. And then when I wasn't having headaches, I was like, I think it's okay right now. We'll see what happens. But what the doctor had said is, if you want to have any more children, for sure, this thing needs to be removed before you try to get pregnant. I said, say less, no problem. I will make sure that I do that before we try to get pregnant. Unfortunately, it didn't go that long. Or fortunately, I should say, it didn't go to the point of, oh, we're trying to have a baby, we want to get it taken out. No, my head started killing me. So he's like, okay, I'm on call for the next day or two. Come and go get admitted tonight. I was like, tonight? Mind you, I'm working. I am at work. I am just corresponding with him over email, my work emails. And I'm like, I'm at work right now. And I'm like, I don't know if I can say I'm coming tonight, because I have to get things in order. Like, I have to figure out where the kids are going to go, because my husband's going to want to come and be able to stay with me as much as he is allowed to. There's some exceptions. And so in this case, it was an exception that he could come and be with me pre-op and a little bit post-op. So we're like, well, I'm like, I have to figure out what I'm doing in regards with the kids, and I have to make sure that I let my manager know, and I have to call like employee health and all this kind of stuff, and I have to get all these things in order. So my kids had to go to my sister's for the time that I was in the hospital, and then I had to make sure that all of that was dealt with and done. I just wanted to make sure that I had things in order, because the worst thing is to happen is having to go do surgery and then coming home and like your house is a mess or whatever. So I wanted to make sure that I had food there and ready for when we're home, and that I don't have to worry about cooking, and that laundry was done and any groceries we need to do. So I made sure that we got all that done, and we did that before I went to go get surgery. So doctor was like, okay, cool, no problem, come in next week and get admitted. We're gonna do another MRI, then we'll do the surgery, blah blah. I was like, all right, cool. So I go in the day to get admitted. I'm on the unit. We're just, you know, so my husband was able to stay with me for a bit in the morning of the surgery. I
was there the whole day.
Yeah, he was with me most of the day, because you went back, you left to take the kids from your parents to my sister, and then you came back. I am so sorry, guys. I am extremely thirsty. This is my big ass water bottle. I drink like 2 to 3 of these a day, and I'll tell you why. So yeah. So my husband was with me for the day, and then they were like, okay, you're not allowed to eat anything after midnight. And I was like, no eating, no drinking after midnight until the surgery. I said, all right, cool. Hopefully surgery's early. It was not until 8 p.m. the following day. That's when I had to go to surgery. Prior to going into surgery, I had to get an MRI done. When I did that MRI, they did find out that the tumor had gotten big again, and it had started to rebleed. And that is why I was having those headaches. That's why my eyes, I was squinting, because it had started pushing against my optic nerve again. And so I was like, okay, my vision was getting a little blurry, no double vision, but it was getting a little blurry. That's why I was squinting and all that stuff. That's when the doctor was like, yeah, so it's definitely coming out, because it's getting worse and I don't need you to be going through that. And I said, all right, it's coming out. I woke up after surgery and I was like, the doctor came and saw me the next day. He goes, do you remember the conversation we had yesterday? I said, we talked. I saw, what? I don't know what you're talking about. So basically just told me about the tension headaches and stuff. So I'm still taking my thyroid medication, because as everything is still healing, I'm not 100% healed as of right now. So that is why I'm off work still. Everything should balance itself out. Unfortunately, there is a slight side effect to the surgery, and so because of that I have something called diabetes insipidus, which is basically a continuous thirst and a continuous need to void or pee. So I am always thirsty. I always need something to drink. Mind you, I can, like I said, this big bottle, this is a gallon, okay? This bottle is a gallon, which is what? 3.78 liters. I go through about 1.5 to 2 of these a day. And I think I've already filled it up twice today. Yeah. And this is what's left. And once this is done, I'm going to go fill it up again. It's night right now, so I'm not going to finish it overnight, because I do have a special medication that I take at night so that I'm not constantly getting up in the middle of the night to go to the washroom. Because the first few nights after surgery, that's literally what was happening. I would be like, oh, I'm so thirsty, drink a whole thing of water, like a whole glass of water. 15-20 minutes later, I need to run to the washroom. And it was just back and forth, and unfortunately it's still happening now, especially during the day. So I'll be like, I'm so thirsty, I'll drink so much water. 15-20 minutes later, I have to run to the washroom. So I know that I also mentioned previously about not being able to drive. I have started driving a little bit by myself now, but even then I get so tired. It's just my body just feels so drained, and that's because my body is working to heal itself, and so I'm just always so tired still. So once everything is done and I'm 100% healed, I'm hoping that the energy I used to have just comes back with a vengeance. Like, I'll be able to do anything. I'll be Superwoman again. But yeah, right now, low energy, so low sometimes. So bad that, like, in the morning when the kids wake up, I can't get up. I'm so tired, and I have such an amazing and loving husband that he gets up with the kids and he'll give them breakfast, get them ready, no problem, and lets me sleep. And so when I finally am able to wake up and I try to, even then he's like, babe, relax, sit down, I got this, I got you. So I love you so much, babe. Mwah.
Love you too.
But yeah, so like I said, driving is a little difficult. I did drive a little bit last week. I got home and went straight to sleep because I was like, this is a lot. It was exhausting. And if we're going anywhere, I have to be very careful because I have to make sure that I use the washroom before we leave, and I can't drink anything until we're close to our destination. We can't go anywhere that is more than half an hour away from our house, because if we do, halfway there, I'm gonna be like, I have to use the washroom now, and I can't control it in the sense of, oh, just hold it in. No, once I feel the urge to go, I have to go now, or we're gonna have problems. So when we leave home, gotta go to the washroom first, then it's straight out the door, get in the car, go to wherever we go. Once we get to where we go, where we're going, again, I gotta use the washroom. Literally 20-minute drive from here to my sister's or from here to my in-laws. I need to pee, and I will force myself not to drink any water, but my mouth is so dry. I've tried sucking on a candy, chewing gum to help with that feeling. Doesn't help, doesn't work. It's gonna take time, it'll happen, eventually everything will be okay. So as of right now, that's the situation. So yes, sorry, I don't even think I even addressed the not being able to smell part. So I had dressings up my nose, so to keep from, blood coming out and stuff. So I couldn't smell anything. So for about 2 weeks, I couldn't smell anything, which means I couldn't taste anything. So I was just eating just to eat because I needed to keep I need sustenance. That's it. You know, when you want to eat, and I'm a person, I love food. Food is so good. I could not eat and enjoy it because I couldn't taste it. So when I was like, can you smell it? Because I can't smell it. Is because I could not smell. I had dressings up my nose. Yeah. So that is basically it for me. That is the story time that you guys have been waiting for. I wonder if you guys were actually waiting for it. But yeah, so thank you guys again for sticking through. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks, I appreciate it. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video, and I really appreciate it. I will put my socials down below, and thank you guys so much. I need to pee right now, and I'm so thirsty. Bye.
Mira, nankolane. Hey, embo mi di mami. Embo mi di mami. Hey, obi mami hanky.